Hello, happy Thursday, and welcome back to Before the Four. I'm A.J. Wuest, excited to bring you some of our top stories today in the 48 newsroom. If you don't already know, our 4 o'clock newscast will be streamed right here where you are watching right now. So whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or the 48 Now live stream page, don't go anywhere because our webcast will start just moments after Before the Four ends today. And then after our 4 o'clock newscast, our 5, 6, and 10 o'clock shows will air on television as normal. Also, remember today is a 48 first alert weather day due to the extreme heat here in the Tennessee Valley. So I hope you are all staying cool and staying hydrated, of course. And make sure you tune in to our forecast tonight as our awesome meteorologists keep you in the know. But anyway, thank you for tuning in to today's Before the Four. And with all of that said, why don't we just jump right in to today's top stories? And of course, starting things off, it is that time of the year again, back to school. Can you all believe it? Back to school starting, and in case you missed it, yesterday, 48's Daquan Lee here in Madison County reported on what Huntsville City Schools are doing to improve student learning this school year. Let's take a listen.
As students for Huntsville City Schools get ready to return to the classroom tomorrow, Superintendent Clarence Sutton is looking even further ahead. He's coming off the heels of announcing his 10-year, $600 million capital plan towards the end of the last school year. He called it the hardest part of his first year, but he says parents have been receptive to it.
Anytime you improve schools for students, the community is excited. And that's the beautiful thing about Huntsville, the growth, the excellence, the innovation here. We have that with the Huntsville City Schools, so really it's been great feedback.
Huntsville City Schools recently decided to continue to allow cell phones to remain in schools, albeit under restricted use. Dr. Sutton says the district decided against an outright ban because they want parents to have an opportunity to weigh in as well, but says it must be a partnership.
We're going to the community and say, parents, help us. Really talk to your child before they come to school and say, look, you got it on you, really for emergencies. You know, you need a ride home or something happened. Do that. Contact the office if you need to see your student. We'll pull the student, bring them to the office, let them call home.
When it comes to faculty and staff, Dr. Sutton says they've grown every year since COVID. He says there are still needs for elementary teachers, but overall, says the district isn't experiencing a shortage. His main focus for year 2, student achievement. Daquan Lee, WAFF 48 News, on your side.
Thank you, Daquan. And now in Madison, let's talk about those yellow school buses you see driving around. And you actually see one on screen right now. You're certainly going to see more of them now with school starting back. But yesterday, 48's Callie Nee spoke with Madison City Schools Transportation as they are urging people here in the community to make sure that they stop at the school bus stop sign. Let's take a listen.
Reds go out, it's a stop, and it's a stop until the reds come in and quit flashing.
Seems pretty simple, right? Stop sign goes out, you stop. But Dr. Travis Scrimshire from the Madison City Schools Transportation Department says otherwise.
Hundreds? I would say hundreds of times.
He tells me that people blow through these flashing red lights all the time.
Our hottest areas are on Old Madison Pike. That's a huge one because I think some people don't understand that's not a divided highway. It's 4 lanes, but it's nowhere near. And so,
but this new technology will help.
With our new buses that we brought into the fleet over the past couple of years, we have what's known as stop arm technology, and
they also added cameras outside of the bus.
When someone goes through our reds, of course we capture it on video, and then we have a specific form that the state makes us fill out with all the information, and then locally here we attach. Still video frame or live video.
The district will turn evidence over to the police, who will ticket the driver. Dr. Scrimshire says the goal is to get 7,000 children to school and safely back home.
Our district, our parents trust and depend on our transportation system, and we bus a lot of children to and from school every day, and we just have a great time doing it. So looking forward to school starting. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Callie. Now let's talk about a few stories that recently broke on our website. Out in Lacey Spring, authorities say they discovered a live grenade while executing a search warrant for drugs at a residence. Now, this happened yesterday afternoon when the Morgan County Sheriff's Office Drug Enforcement Unit used a search warrant on Farm Supply Road. During the search, authorities say they found a load of drugs and a live grenade inside the residence. After clearing the scene, sheriffs placed this yard sign that you currently see on screen in the front yard stating that this drug house is now closed. And Cali spoke with Sheriff Mike Swafford today, and she will have more on this coming up in our 5 o'clock newscast tonight. Now, you all know it. It's Thursday, and that means it is time for Crime Stoppers. A lot of thefts going on lately in Huntsville, so let's take a look at who Huntsville police need your help stopping this week.
Angle after angle, Walmart has you covered, including this man who police say walked inside and used someone's credit card to buy a Visa gift card with happy birthday on it for more than $500. Police believe he's behind several break-ins at hotel parking lots along University Drive in Huntsville. Police say the man pulled out of the parking lot in this white car. If you recognize him, it could be your birthday too. Tyrese Freeman is wanted on a burglary charge. Police say he stole thousands of dollars worth of electronics and shoes from someone's apartment. Investigators are also looking for Eugene Leslie. He's accused of breaking into a car and taking several items. Elizabeth Uzarski is charged with heroin possession. And you've seen this face before on our Crime Stoppers report. Police still need to find Corey Woods. He's charged with domestic violence. Police say he choked a former girlfriend. It's simple to put some money in your pocket, up to $1,000. If you recognize someone, just call 53 Crime. You can also text or email your tips. For more information, visit the Crime Stoppers link on our website at WAFF.com.
Well, thank you, Margot. And it has now been 1 complete month since Huntsville's hands-free driving ordinance went into full effect. 48's Nick Ballinger gives you a look at how many people have been pulled over during the month of July.
It seems like everywhere you go on the road, you could turn to your right or left and see a driver on their phone. That was the reason behind Huntsville's hands-free ordinance, prohibiting drivers from even touching their phones now 1 month in.
Any rule, if it's a good rule, great, but it has to be applied consistency across the entire city.
Huntsville police say they are. In the law's first month in effect, 40 drivers were pulled over for being on their phones. 11 were let off with a warning, and 29 were slapped with a $50 ticket. But the Huntsville residents believe this is enough to make an impact.
And as a motorcycle rider, I've had several encounters with people on their phones, almost hit me or my brother. Yeah, going down 565 and every morning, every afternoon, there's lots of people on their phones.
Just ask Joe Lemery what he's experienced in the past with a distracted driver.
I was on my Bluetooth talking to my wife, as a matter of fact, and I looked in my rearview mirror. I said, honey, hold on a second, I'm about to get rear-ended. And the lady never looked up, hit my car, and I caused a pretty significant injury. Both times the police said the people were on mobile devices, and yeah, so I'm all for the law. When
you ask others, they'll tell you they have to answer their phone if their boss calls.
There's 2 ways to go about that. You can either pull over and answer the phone or tell your boss that you're driving. That's the law. I'm not going to break a law for my job.
It's only been a month, so we'll have to wait and see what next month brings, but some think this law will certainly bring about change.
I think with any new law like this, people will adjust and the ticket rate will drop significantly.
Well, thanks, Nick. And staying in Huntsville, the Redstone Arsenal today welcomed its first ever female garrison commander. Now, Colonel Erin Ike, who you see on screen right now, assumed command this morning. She will oversee support services for more than 65 different organizations, including NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center. Now, Ike began her military career for the Minnesota National Guard back in 1998. After graduating college, she then was commissioned as a second lieutenant. Prior to landing her current role on Redstone Arsenal, she served as the chief of the Requirements Division in the J6 Command out in the Pentagon.
While this milestone is significant, I just want to make sure that our focus remains on the garrison mission as well as the teamwork and collaboration across the arsenal.
Well, awesome stuff there. And now let's head on over to the Shoals, where one high school rocketry team just got back from a global competition. 48's Aria Pons reports.
This team has given their all, heading across the pond and making the world take notice. The Thornton High School rocketry team took on 922 other teams from around the U.S. and beat them all. Then they headed to England and finished second in the global competition in one of the closest finishes ever.
Oh, that's most everybody's kind of disappointed because we didn't get first, but the way the outcome was, I mean, the best scores, like out of all the internationals, any other year we would have won. You can't really ask for anything better.
But it's like you said, it's fuel for next year, but it kind of stings because it's like you were good enough to be first, but it was just a little bit off.
Incredibly, this team was in danger of being cut from the school due to funding problems, but they got a lifeline from some sponsors and fought on. All 8 students spent 7 to 8 hours a day practicing this summer for the competition.
They're just all together. They're a true team, and you don't get that a lot. So it is really amazing watching them grow, not only individually, but understanding what teamwork really is.
But for them, it wasn't just about these competitions and rockets. It was also the friends they made along the way.
Well, I joined because of my friends.
Rocketry at first wasn't too interesting for me, but I found that doing it with my friends made it a lot more important to me.
Almost all of the students spoke about their interest in engineering and the aerospace field after high school. And as for the future of the program, the school is working on finding more sponsors, but the team's not going anywhere and has nothing to worry about. That is, besides besting the world again.
Oh, they're already wanting to start. I mean, they're dedicated. They're going to put in every single minute, every hour, whatever they need to do, they're going to put in the work. If there's a chance they can get to Paris, they're going to try.
Aria Pons, 48 on your side.
Super cool. I love the different designs on those rockets, and that one clip of that one rocket blasting off, that was super awesome. But congrats, that is still an awesome achievement, and you all need to be hanging your heads up high. But thank you, Aria. Now in state news, a new bill that has been pre-filed in the Alabama legislature would require a person to have a permit to legally carry certain firearms. Currently, anyone 19 or older in this state is legally allowed to carry a firearm, open or concealed. They do not need a permit. House Bill 23, however, would require one. Representative Keontae Hassell says the main point of this legislation is to give authority back to law enforcement to ensure a safe and hold citizens accountable. And let's take a listen.
If you're a law-abiding citizen, you can go get your permit and have this weapon. I know, not trying to take weapons away from anybody. It's just that some of these weapons get in the wrong hands. And it's so wide open freely now that it's causing a lot of problems.
Well, thank you. And now in national news, the former president under fire for comments he made yesterday at the Black Journalists Conference in Chicago, questioning his opponent's racial identity. NBC's Garrett Hake with more.
This morning, reaction pouring in as former President Trump, who came to this conference of journalists to court black voters, questioned Vice President Harris' racial identity.
She was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black? I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do you believe
I
that
think somebody should look into that.
Overnight in Houston, Harris briefly responding at a convention for historically black sorority.
It was the same old show. The divisiveness and the disrespect. And let me just say, the American people deserve better.
The former president has been aiming to win over more black voters, a crucial part of the Democratic coalition, for months. Perhaps under pressure from the excitement building around Harris, Trump agreed to the interview with the storied National Association of Black Journalists. The organization itself facing controversy ahead of the interview, which turned contentious from the very first question.
I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question in such a horrible manner. I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country.
The former president still making his case.
I have been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln.
Well, thank you, Garrett. A relaxing boat ride took a horrible turn when a Lee County woman realized her dog wasn't on board anymore. One day later, sadness turned to smiles. Thanks to a tour boat crew, Samantha Romero has more on the remarkable rescue.
She's a good swimmer.
A good swimmer.
She has piercing eyes.
And a charmer, too.
She likes people. She's a people dog.
Ellie, the 2-year-old Australian cattle dog, is used to the salt life, spending plenty of time on her family's boat. But on Sunday, Kathleen Baker says their fun in the sun took a terrifying turn.
It'd probably been a minute or so, and I hadn't seen her, and I looked back, and she was gone. Totally gone.
In a matter of minutes, fear settled in.
I felt like I had a big hole in my heart, and I just felt like we had somehow let her down.
As daylight faded, so did the hope of finding Ellie. But about an hour later,
Abby, come here.
Captain Terry Johns aboard the Sanibel Harbor Princess spotted a black speck in the middle of the Gulf off Fort Myers Beach.
It looked like a little head that was swimming, and sure enough, it was a little puppy that was making its way toward the back of the boat.
A day later, fate brought them together. Baker located one of the employees on the boat that found Ellie.
There she was. She was having a good time because they had a little mini farm, so she was running around.
A sight Baker will not always remember.
That was great. I mean, just to see her again, because we thought we would never see her again. We really did. And when we saw her, it was priceless.
Oh, how cute. Now let's talk about the stories you're just not going to want to miss. A petition here in the Yellowhammer State to get independent presidential candidate Robert Kennedy Jr. on the ballot. The latest on the Russia prisoner swap earlier today. And another story you're just not going to want to miss is, of course, the latest on the Olympics. Who won gold for Team USA today and how the team is currently stacking up. And let me tell you, we were watching a little bit of the Olympics today in the newsroom. We're watching Simone Biles and Suni Lee just do that thing. It was an exciting time. I actually woke up early this morning and watched some table tennis. And me waking up early, that's unheard of. But I woke up early to watch some table tennis because I was just so invested. But yeah, some exciting stuff. But those are just a few of the stories you're just not going to want to miss in our evening newscasts. And now I think we all know what time it is. It is, of course, you guessed it, it is time for Facebook Fun. So why don't we just go ahead and pull up today's question, and staying on the topic of the Olympics, of course, you have been tasked with creating an Olympic sport for something mediocre. What are you winning a gold medal in? And let me tell you, y'all had some of the most amazing comments I've ever seen on a Facebook question post. So kudos to all of you. I want to show a majority of them, but unfortunately, it doesn't seem like time is allotting for me to show like majority of the comments today. So I narrowed it down to 5 of my favorite questions. But yes, you guys made it hard for me to choose a favorite question, so kudos to you. But let's see what you all had to say. Rhonda Gardner said, breaking green beans and peeling shrimp. Very interesting, you know. If that was an Olympic sport, Rhonda, I'm sure you would be incredible. You would get the gold, bring home the gold. But Rhonda, thank you for commenting. That is awesome. Carl, he said, 0-turn mower challenge course. Absolutely, absolutely. You do not want to get me on one of those Toro 0-turn mowers. I cut the grass back at my house, my parents' house at Georgia sometimes. My dad has a 0-turn mower, one of those Toro mowers, and they're just so much fun. So, yes, Carl, we might be competing at that one. Let's do it. Let's start it. Andy said, gold medal in eating hot wings. All right, this one I could probably compete a little bit better in. I love me some hot wings. Andy, me and you, we're gonna face off. Whoever wins gets to compete in the LA Olympics next go around. But Andy, thank you so much for commenting. Vicky said underwater basket weaving. Very interesting. Vicky, go get that gold. Yes. And finally, Catherine said, sitting in my recliner looking at Facebook on my phone. And Catherine, hello, how are you doing today? If you're on Facebook right now, you might see this. If you're watching right now, Catherine, make sure you leave a comment. I can see if you do. But Catherine, thank you so much for commenting. And you know what? Team USA needs a recliner sitter Facebook looker. Like, I think Team USA needs that. We need to add that to the Olympics. But Catherine, thank you so much for commenting. Well, that just about does it for today's Before the Four. Make sure you all tune in for the 4 o'clock newscast, which is actually going to be a webcast. So don't go anywhere wherever you're watching right now, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or the 48 Now live stream page. Make sure you stay tuned for our 4 o'clock. And other than that, I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. I will not be here tomorrow, but I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. And as we like to end it every single time, I want to, of course, thank you for watching. You all have a great night.